So, Mualani is our first ever DPS to come in Netherlands, and since I played quite a bit with her, I like to talk about how she performs, and if she can compete with the current best DPSs. So just a TLDR answer, yes, I think she competes, but now I'll explain why I think that by analyzing her overall ability to do damage, her flexibility, and her overall gameplay. So I'll first start by talking about her overall ability to do damage, which is in my opinion the most important factor to determine if she can compete with the best. Honestly, the other factors are more of just a bonus, because this factor is what truly matters. But since I'm already analyzing Mualani, might as well talk about other important stuff about her. But anyways, as you most likely already know, Mualani is a forward vape nuker, and she's very unique in the fact that not only she's the first forward vape DPS, but also she's the only character who is purely a nuker. A character like Eula, Childe, and Navia are also nukers, but a lot of their damage comes outside of the nuke. Because of this, alongside the fact that she has high damage, it makes her the easiest character if you want to one-shot a wave of enemies or even a boss. And as you already know, the fastest way to kill an enemy is by one-shotting them. So that means Mualani has the potential to kill the enemies the fastest if you can one-shot them. However, to do this you need some type of vertical investment. And if you don't one-shot enemies, then I would say she falls off a bit, but is still very strong. And she could still kill enemies faster than Ovelette and Arlecchino. It's just that it wouldn't be as likely. So overall, I do think she competes in terms of damage, but without vertical investment, I would say the gap between her and the others is a lot smaller, and really any of them could be faster. But yes, I do think that if you have enough investment to one-shot most enemies, then she can be quite ahead of the others with equal vertical investment. Emphasis on can. Depending on what you're fighting, the others could have an advantage. Like for example, one problem with her playstyle is overkilling. Even though she can do more damage than Novelette, she can't really compete in a fight with a bunch of trash mobs, cause she not only attacks a lot slower than Novelette, but it also takes some time for her to even reach the enemies to do damage, whereas Novelette can just reach him from basically anywhere. Arlecchino being able to deal with trash mobs a lot easier too, due to her fast attacks, and she can even quickly charge attack to reach other opponents. By this, you can probably already notice that comparing characters like this, and especially deciding who is the best objectively, is very hard. That is why this video is aiming more on comparing them and seeing if Mualani can reach their level or even surpass them in some situations, rather than trying to determine who is the true best DPS. Well, I already talked about the most important part, which is her overall ability to do damage. But there is another factor that I like to talk about, which is how flexible she is in her teams. And well, honestly, I think she has nice flexibility. Even though you only be playing her in forward vape, there are a lot of characters that you can use with her. And even though Xiangling is basically always the best pyro option, at least she can use other ones and isn't completely tied to Xiangling, like for example how Arlecchino is mostly tied to Bennett. So honestly, I can see the argument for her being more flexible than Arlecchino. But when it comes to Novelette, then I don't really think so. Both have really good flexibility, but Novelette can also be used in other team archetypes, unlike Mualani who's only really played in Vape. But yeah, I would still consider her to have good flexibility. Okay, so the last thing I would like to talk about is her overall gameplay. Well, I think we can all agree that Mualani is the most clunky out of the three. Even though the other two can have some clunky moments, I don't think it compares to what happens to Mualani. And I think it's fair to say that Novelette has the overall best gameplay. He's just very consistent and his AoE is huge if you spin with him. But even though she has the most inconsistencies and the overall worst gameplay out of the three, it's not really a problem if you're willing to reset a few times in Abyss. It's not really like a Klee situation where you need skill to play her and if you don't then she just feels bad. A lot of Mualani's gameplay, you just have to get used to it. And then for the rest, well, there isn't much you can do about it. Like for example, the shark missile's just missing. So yeah, she has the potential to be the fastest, but due to some problems you might face with her kit, it can be a lot harder. And if not, straight up impossible. Like trying to fight the Weenut. You just lose out on most of your uptime, since you won't be able to hit it consistently enough to get the 2 perfect fish, and also wasting your uptime chasing it. So in conclusion, even though her gameplay isn't the best, her flexibility and most importantly, her damage can for sure make her compete with the best. I felt like there was no need to talk about how free-to-play friendly they are, since all of them are very free-to-play friendly. So there was no real point in comparing them this way. But anyways, I would still say that Novelette is the overall best DPS in the game, due to his comfort and AoE. But if we were to talk about pure damage, then I think either Arlecchino or Mualani can be better than him. But that's my opinion on Mualani, a very strong character that can compete with the best. Hope this video was informative to you, and I'll see you in the next one.